Hey guys, it's Rosina and welcome back to the channel and welcome back to my kitchen. Or really Mom's kitchen. Now in today's Rosina's kitchen, we are going to be making bangers and mash, which is sausages and mashed potatoes with a nice onion gravy. Now I got this recipe off Instagram from the same person I got my French onion soup recipe from, Chef Tom Bateman. Now his is super simple. You can follow along and I will have his Instagram video for it in the description below. Now without further ado, let's get this started. You're going to need these ingredients. Some white onion. So we're going to start off by cutting off those ends, peeling off the peel, and cutting it in half. Now in his recipe, he uses red onions, but he said white is fine. So I'm going to do a white onion. And then he says about 2 to 3 medium-sized ones. I had a bigger one, so I'm just using half of it since I used the other half for something else. All right, now that we have it in half, we're going to cut it into strips, just like the last recipe with French onion soup. Final product, onion strips. Some bangers, which I am using these Polish kielbasa smoked sausages. Obviously you want the ones that are made of pork. You want pork sausages for this recipe. 400 milliliters or about 1 2/3 cup of chicken stock. And I use the Better Than Bouillon chicken flavor. Kind of like the beef one that I did for the French onion soup. Same brand. 200 milliliters of beer or ale. I'm using beer. I'm using this beer to be exact. We're going to be doing about 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons worth of this Dijon mustard. You could do that, or he says you could do English mustard, but I'm doing this French recipe one. Now obviously it can't be bangers and mash without our taters right here. So I'm going to be using these yellow/golden potatoes. Depending on their size, I'm probably going to be using about maybe 5 to 6 potatoes. So that is it. That's all the ingredients you need. All right, first, we're gonna brown our sausages. Now you wanna make sure that your pot is nice and hot, about like medium heat, low medium, depending on your stove. This stove, like I said, it's a little touchy, so who knows. Now, how do we know that our stainless steel pot or pan is ready? Well, you do a little trick, I'll show you. So you get a little bit of water in your hand, and then you just kinda, now if you see the water dancing like that, it's ready. It makes it non-stick, so nothing will stick on this and get all, stuck. Now that our pan is ready, we're gonna put in our sausages. Since I'm making 8, I'm just gonna start off with 4, brown those, and then do our other batch. Now he didn't add oil into his pan to do this, so I'm just gonna do it how he does it. And if you don't want, grease to go anywhere, grab a splatter screen. I don't want to dirty up this stove because if I do, my mom's going to be mad at me. And I don't want to get in trouble with my mom. Don't you tell her. Don't tell her. Or I'll be sad. You don't want that, do you? Now we're only browning it because it's going to cook more into the sauce. All right, taking the first batch out and I'm going to put in the second. Get that splatter screen ready, you never know. And that is why the splatter screen. Okay, I took out the second batch of sausages, so now we're going to add in our onions, which like I mentioned, I'm doing white, but you could do red if you want to do red. I think he did red in his recipe, but he said white was fine, so I'm doing white. Now we're going to want to soften these onions because we're going to kind of caramelize them in a way, but you want to soften them to make the onion gravy for the bangers and mash. So we're just going to let this do its thing, and then we're going to add in our beer. All right, our onions look pretty softened, but before I put in that beer, we're going to add in our sausages back. Because you kind of want the sausages to also have a little bit of that beer flavor, or ale if you're using ale. So if I can fit all these sausages in here. Hey, would you look at that? All right, time to add in our 200 milliliters, or about 1 2/3 cup of beer / ale if you're using ale. All right, we're gonna let this cook until this beer gets to about 1/3 cup worth in here. So not fully gone, but reduced enough that it's not gonna have like a huge beer taste. So we're gonna let this do its thing. So we're gonna let this beer do its thing and reduce by about 1/3 until we add in our stock and our mustard. You want it to do that because you don't want like too much of a beer flavor, right? That kind of overpower it. So that's what we're gonna do. So we'll wait on this and then add in our stock and mustard. All right, the beer has reduced. Let's add in our stock and our Dijon mustard. Add in our stock. Now we're gonna add in our mustard, about 1 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons, we'll see how I'm feeling. Tastes like cough syrup. My mom's trying the blackberry Dr. Pepper. She says it tastes like cough syrup. Maybe don't get it. Kyle said it was a 7 out of 10. I think it's all right.
Tastes like cough syrup.
Tastes like cough syrup. Then just gotta mix that mustard in. Don't mind the dogs, they're playing. My sous chefs aren't doing their jobs. My sous chefs just want to play. That we mixed in that mustard. Now you want this to sit on like low medium heat to kind of thicken up for about, he says 40 minutes. So we'll check on this in 40 minutes. All right, that looks like it's thickened up. Now, this is an optional one. You don't have to put it in. He even says it in his video, but you can put a little bit of chutney in here if you want. You don't have to. It's more if you want a little bit of like a sour kind of taste. All right, potato time. Now I got 5 potatoes here, 6 maybe depending on if I feel I need more, but we're gonna take these and we're gonna peel them. Boom, peeled. Time to chop. Now I like to do mine in cubes. It makes it easier to use a potato ricer, which I'm using today. But you can do this either way. You can still cube it up and just use a hand mixer or something if you want whipped potatoes. But I'm doing a potato ricer because potato ricers make potatoes nice and smooth, and I just really like them. Boom, so many cubes. Don't mind my pot making silly sounds while the water is trying to boil, but I'm going to add in the potatoes. Hey guys, editing Rosina here. Don't do what I just said. Put your potatoes in cold water first, then let it boil. I don't know why I did what I did. We're making potatoes, not pasta. Make sure when you're dropping it to get water droplets everywhere. And almost burn your hand. Don't do that. All right, now we're gonna let these potatoes boil and then we'll mash them. Those potatoes be boiling. Let's see if these potatoes are soft enough to mash. Come here. Oh yeah, those are ready. We're going to be using a potato ricer today, but if you want, you can use this kind of masher as well, or a hand mixer. All right, all our potatoes are potato riced. Would that be the right word? I don't know. But now we're going to add in some milk. I don't really give a measurement. I kind of measure with my heart, but it all depends on how not soupy you want it. So I just start off with a little and add more if I need to. I'd say depending on the amount of potatoes you have, I'd probably maybe do about half cup if we want to measure. And then I do about a nice big scoop of butter on top and mix. Sometimes I'll add a little bit of salt too, just to give it a little bit of seasoning. But you don't need the salt if you don't want it. And we just mix it all in. Oh yeah, that looks pretty smooth. And there you go, potatoes done. Now let's plate. All right, plate. Potatoes. Sausages. And gravy. Let's eat. And that is the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope you guys try to make this bangers and mash yourselves. And tell me how it goes for you. Let me know what other videos you'd love to see from me. I make new videos every Wednesday/Thursday and Saturdays, if I can, depending on what's happening. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.